Hello, everybody. Welcome to another 10-minute tech video. Today, we're going to be talking about .loop basics. So setting up your loop and changing some information in there and adding some documents. So what we're going to do is we are going to log into our .loop here. We want to make sure that you see that it has premium right here up at the top. So it shows premium. This is the new updated dashboard here. Sometimes you'll see when you go into like one of these. So if you see it's like this at the top where it has the red line and the MyKW, that's the older that's the older style. So this is the updated dashboard here, or home screen. So it's got your name here, your Keller Williams location. You also see over here in this drop down, if you click in this drop down, it'll have two different profiles in here typically. You want to make sure that it's on your profile. That way your loops are in here correctly. Okay, so what we want to do is you can see down here you have your loops. Now you can always, there's a couple different items here across the top. You can do your searching in here. You can search by address. So if I type in test, it shows me all my test loops. Type in somebody's last name, it'll show that. If I can type in pretty much anything in here and it'll pull up a loop that has that in there. This next button here is your filters. We can open the filters window. And right now mine is set to hide the archived. So you can't really delete a loop, you just archive it. And you can see on the back on this screen, it has an archive button here. So right now we're looking at everything that's not archived. I can also do only archived, or I could just do all, and it'll just show me all my active loops and my archive loops. We can choose specific loop types. We can choose specific loop statuses. So if you just want to see you're under contracts, you can check that box and it'll open up your under contracts. You can do there's different areas in here that you can bring up based on some filters that are preset in the system. Okay, we're not going to change our filters, so we're going to hit the X up here. You can sort your loops right here. So you can sort by creation date, last updated, transaction price, whatever you want to do in here. Mine are set by creation date right now. The last box here is your view. So if I click on this, it shows me the options, or if I click, no, it's not going to do it. Okay, so right now I'm on the grid view where it shows these big boxes. You can do list view where it shows a list, or you can do compact view where it shows you a list that way too. Okay. So then we've got your big red add loop button here. We'll talk about that in a second. Your activity log is here. If you click on your activity notifications, if I click on notifications, it's going to show me my notifications. Right now, there are no new notifications for the last 7 days that I haven't already read. If there's a little red icon that shows up, a little red dot that shows up on here, that means you have notifications. Right now, there's nothing there, so I know there's nothing new in there to check. You got a couple different things across the top here. You've got some reporting that you can look at. You can look at total sales. You can look at the loops. You can look at your loops without prices. There's all kinds of preset reporting in here, and you can change your time frames over here. You can do year to date, last 30 days, and all that. So that's your time frame up here. The next item across the top is going to be your loops. So it's here. You've got tasks in here. So if you have any tasks set up on your loops, you can bring those up here and they'll show up. So if I put a task on the bottom of a loop, and we'll see the where the tasks are listed out, it'll show them here for you. So you can click on tasks and you can see those here. You can either use the tasks here or you can use the one in command. Go into loops. So back to the home screen here. Then you've got people where you can set up various people that could be in your transactions. And then you've got templates. So if I click on templates, we come in here, and we'll talk about templates when we create a loop here in a minute too. But there's most of these are going to be defined by your market center. But you can actually create your own templates also. So like right now, I have a training folder and I have a listing folder. So I can click on training folder and maybe it shows these two documents or what I want in here. So if I'm going through a loop and it asks me, what type do you want? Typically you could just do listing or buyer. But I could actually choose one of these if I do, like if I have a listing folder here, and these are all my branded folder, all my branded. So what I did was I took the standard listing packet folder here that the Market Center created, and then I have branded folder, and then I branded all those documents with the team name and things like that, and pre-filled some of the information in so I don't have to do it every time. So that's what this is. So I can actually select this and add these documents when I have a listing, and it's all done for me. It's already branded. It's already, it has stuff pre-filled in, and all of that is here instead of just putting in the generic listing packet. Okay, so we're gonna go back to loops, and now we are going to create a loop. So we're gonna go to this big blue button here, click on that. It opens up the loop, add a loop box here. And asks for your property address. So if you don't know the property address, you can put your client's name in there for now. You can always change this later. So we're just going to call this one, let's do training loop 1. Okay. When you start to click in, it's going to try to pull an address like that. And it uses Google Maps for that. If you hit your escape key, it'll get rid of those. And then you can click continue. So that's the name of the loop. Now here's where you can come in here and do your templates. It only gives you 2 options here, listing or purchase. If I leave it blank, I can add my own, which we will do. But if I go in here and use listing loop, it's going to add the listing template from the Market Center, and same for purchase. It's going to add the purchase loop from the Market Center. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to leave it blank. Hit continue. You can upload a photo if you want. So if you have a photo of the property, it makes it easier to kind of find when you're going through your loops too. You can add a photo. We're not going to do that today. But if you do that, you click upload a photo. It goes to your desktop, and it goes to the desktop. And then it shows you can pull up, you can go to your folders or whatever, and you can pull up the photo and add it there. Once you've done that, or haven't done it, if you don't want one, you can click on done. It's going to create the loop. It's going to show you the loop here. Okay, where you can, from here, you can create another loop. You can view that loop, or you can just go back up here and click on your loops button, and it shows it right here. So it shows that it was created on 3/26, which is today at 1:55. There's no closing date listed, so this is blank down here in the circle right now. We can archive it, or we can choose a type. So if I say that this is a listing for sale, I can choose type. I can come in here and say active listing, or wherever. Maybe it's a pre-listing. We're getting ready to do it. I can enter in a price here. Enter that in so we can see all that information right here. I can click on the name or the thing, and it opens up. It actually opens up the loop. So if you don't choose a template, this is going to be blank right here under documents. We'll start adding some documents here in a minute. You've got some local service providers that are put in from Market Center. Some of the stuff pulls from there. And then you've got people. Automatically on every loop is going to be the admin in your Market Center and you. So it has admin out here and it has you. So what you want to do is you want to come in here. If you're the agent, you want to make sure that you choose listing agent. Okay. And we are going. So you want to make sure that you've selected your role down here. So I changed that to listing agent. And then you can add additional people here in this loop. So if we want to come in here and we click add person, 3 things you have to do are their name, email, and their role is what you want to make sure that you do. All right. So we type in their full name. Okay. Put in their email. All right. And their role, let's say that this person is the seller. Now, when you do that, it's going to open up more information. You don't have to do anything with that. If you have those 3 things, you can put their other information in if you want, but you don't have to. You do add person, and it puts them right here. Okay. So let's say we have a second seller. So let's go ahead and click add person, and we're going to do Susan to seller. We're going to put in her email address. Give a role, and we're going to do seller. And one of the options that you can do in here is you can also send them an intro email. So if I click on send intro email, you can type your message in here and when you hit add person, it's going to do that. It's going to send them this message. So if you want to let them know that they've been added to DotLoop, you can send a message to them. We're not going to do that. So you can do add person. And now we've got two sellers, the admin and you as the listing agent are in here. So what we want to do is, as we add people to the deal, so, eventually we'll have a buyer, hopefully, and we'll have a buyer's agent. You can put them in here, and you can monitor or restrict what they see, but you still list them in under the people. So back up here to the documents. This is done a couple different ways. Some people have all the documents on their computer and they just upload them. Some people scan them directly into here. There's a couple different ways that you can get things in here. So if we click on the add document, it shows you there's templates, there's browse, and there's email. So under templates, if we click on that, we can come in here now, and this is where I would assign my folder. So Aaron's listing folder, I click on that, do select all, and do copy. It has 27 documents. It says it imported them. I hit OK. Now when I come into documents, here's all the documents that I do for the showing stuff. There's a consumer guide. You've got your referral forms if you need them. You've got your communication consent forms. Everything's in here. Okay. So the other way you can do things is if there's something on your computer that you want to upload, maybe you've already went out and scanned the documents, they're on your computer, you can use this browse option here. Click on that. Opens up your computer here, and you go in here, you select your file, and you hit open, and it'll attach it. The other way to get files in here is via email. So if I click on email, it shows you a link. So if I copy this to my clipboard, and it says I copied it, what I do is when I open up my email, I can put this address, I can do a Control V to paste it into the to line. So this is the email address that you want to send to. And then you add your documents to the email, you hit send, it's going to come to this specific link, it's going to come into DotLoop, and it knows to add them to this loop for this property, and they would show up down here. I've had it take anywhere from 5 minutes to a half hour for them to show up. So it takes some time to do the email option. If you've got them on your computer, you might as well just use the browse option. Okay, so you can come down here and see these documents. We're going to open up one of them. So we're going to do, let's do the communication. Actually, let's open up the, where is it here? Let's do the consumer guide. Okay, so when I click on consumer guide, first thing you're going to see is the autofill here. And seller 1 is listed as Larry, seller 2 is listed as Susan, that's correct. And then it comes down here and it says this is what it's going to fill in. For seller 1, this is going to fill in for seller 2. That all looks good. Depending on the form, will depend on how many fields are up here. For a contract, there's going to be a lot more forms or a lot more fields listed on here. The property address will be listed on here. You can fill in the property address, and it'll put it on the form everywhere where property address is supposed to be, like at the top of every page kind of thing. So we'll click autofill, and we can come down here to the bottom, and it tells us over here 2 roles have been assigned, 2 fields have been autofilled. Scroll down here, it put in Larry's name, it put in Susan's name, and it assigned these 2 signature fields to them. So when I do electronic signature, only Larry can sign here, and only Susan's going to be able to sign here. And that's all they'll be able to do in this document. So when I click on Susan, we can see up here it says it's assigned to Susan. I can go in here and change this. If I want to switch them around, I can say no one, I can say anyone, I can pick a different role if I want in here. But when Susan logs in with her email and opens this document, the only thing it's going to let her do is read it and sign it down here. Okay, so let's go back. We're not going to save it. Let's go back and we'll grab the, let's see here. Okay, so this is a listing. So we need to go to, the contract's not in here, so I want to bring that up so we can see those fields. So I'm going to go into templates. I'm going to go to purchase packet, contract to purchase, hit copy. It imports it. We come back to here. It's the first document when you import. So when we open this one up, it's going to give us an autofill, and there's a lot more fields in here, as you can see. So instead of having to scroll through the document, fill things out, you can come in here and say, okay, buyer one. Okay, I don't see buyer one listed in here, so you can add a person. So if I click add, it's going to have me add that person. So I'm going to say this is John Buyer, email, John at buyer.com, and his role is buyer. Okay, so I hit add person, and it fills him in right here. So we've got John Buyer is the buyer. We've got the two sellers, the buying agent. Again, I don't see anybody in here, so we'll do this. We'll add them. Agent. Let's do buying agent and hit add person. So it's got that person in here. A listing agent is our buying agent. I'm this listing agent. Actually, that should have been a buying agent, but whatever. Okay. All right, so we'll come down here, and then it's asking us for the property address. So we can come in here and we can fill this in. I say, we'll just use my address. Actually, you know what? We're not going to do that. Okay, so it's going to ask. Okay, so we're going to scroll down here, and we're going to add in the address. So let's do 123, and we'll just pick one in here. We'll say this Bel Air one here, so we choose that. We'll close that. So it's going to come down here, and it should have filled in. Okay, so it's got evergreen unit. Okay, I didn't put in the house number though. Okay, so once you select the listing, or you can select the address, it fills it in. We come down here and get rid of that. It's going to pull your information from your profile here. You can come in here and do purchase price, earnest money. You can put that stuff in here, so we can say it's $320, and we go over here and say 1,000 earnest money, and it's held by Keller Williams Hometown Realty. On here, you got your contract dates, your offer dates. I mean, you can fill in pretty much all of the information that's going to be needed down here, and you hit autofill, and say yes. We've got 5 rows, so it went ahead and filled in this stuff. It didn't fill in the contract date because we didn't put it in the autofill, so we're going to put today's date. You can come in here, and anything that's yellow is what it pre-filled in, so you can see it filled in our price, our earnest money. So you just have to come through and finish filling it out the way you want. So, earnest money in 3 days, notify in 4 days. And then you just scroll through the document and make sure that everything's where it's supposed to be, and it automatically assigns down at the bottom. Here's JB, John Buyer. Here's our test sellers here. It puts the address in here, and you just have to finish filling out the information that we didn't put in the autofill field. From here, you can do save and share. So if we want to go ahead and send this to somebody, whether it's, you can choose here who you want to send it to, the buyer, the seller, and you can change their permissions here, so can sign. If you hover over any of these options, it tells you what it is. This is only for people to view. This is the only sign. Here they can fill in sign, and then connect in private. What it does is it creates a private version for them to reshare. This is ideal for sharing with co-op agents or admins. We're going to leave it at can sign for all 3 of our people. We can scroll down here. You can enter in custom message. If we're not sending, you wouldn't send all 3 of these at one time. If we're just sending to our seller, we could say, hey, Susan and Larry, here's the offer. Please review it. Let me know if you have any questions. It's what we talked about on the phone or whatever. You can attach a PDF copy to the email that's sent, so they have a copy that they can print off and read, or they can print straight from DotLoop. And then when you click share, it's going to send this to them. Okay. And then once it's shared, over here, it's going to show, waiting on others. Once they sign it, then this will change to signed. So that is how you edit the documents. And that's the end of the basics training here. So thank you, everybody.